Mike Sadler,
Here.
Dan Burris,
Here.
Joanne Tilton,
Here.
and Sherry Booth and Skip Connor are absent today. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have any comment from the public out there in cyberspace on the agenda for today?
I did receive a written comment from Dan Smith. He was unable to attend the meeting, and so he submitted these comments to me in writing. Art, on his first question, it really has to do more with ordinances, showing, like, for example, in this section of the codified ordinances, it doesn't match where the mayor got moved to 3-year terms.
3-year term, yes.
And so is that something that we need to bring back to council via ordinance, or do we just
Yes.
notify the codifier?
We'll do that. We need to bring that back via ordinance.
Okay,
So to just take, because that's not part of the charter, that's part of the ordinance. So just make a note of that and we can bring it.
okay. And then the second one actually is for the Charter Commission, and it is that Article 12, Section 4 states the notice of claims must be received within 45 days.
Yes,
However, the Texas Tort Claims Civil Practice Remedies Code, Chapter 101, Section 101 states that the time period is 6 months.
yes. So, I mean, and so that's the law. They just never decided to change that because it wasn't worth the ink, but that's one that we can change. So,
Okay, so I will make that note for consideration for the commission in the final report. Or,
yeah, no, we can, when we get ready to go through all these, we can decide when the council, if they want to change those things that were suggestions like that, then I will clean that up and say that's something that it's a change. You don't have to change it because the law says what it is, but if you want to change it, this is what you would change it to.
okay,
So just make a note of those like that, and then we'll change those.
all right.
Does it have to go through council?
Yeah, it'll go through council and it'll go through you guys. If you make a recommendation on amending the charter, then that'll be one of those things that would be could be part of the recommendation to amend. And then if it does that, then it goes on the ballot as part of an amendment. If you decide not to put it on there, it doesn't matter because the law is what the law is anyway.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other comment from the public? Okay.
None at this time.
We consider the approval of the 12/16/2020 meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
And I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Did I happen to pop up on everybody's screen?
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
See you.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
And you vote too, Mike.
Oh, I vote also?
Yes.
Okay, I vote aye. Item number 4 on our agenda is review the topics received from the public, mayor, and councilman and city staff. I know in our packet, we had something from the city councilman. We had Councilman Harris and who else chimed in on that?
I reached out, so we published in the paper, notice to the public. We reached out to all department heads, council members. Chris Harris is the only written response I've gotten other than Dan today, who was unable to attend. This is Chris's redlined version. I don't know how Art feels, but I, at this point, feel like it would be simpler to address them as we continue going through the charter.
Yes. Yes.
The only other comments that he's had is a discussion that we've already talked about, and that was on whether or not the council member and the mayor should be compensated for service if they work for another governmental entity. And then all the additional comments he has, we will come across as we continue.
Well, let's continue. Item 5 is continue the review of articles from the 12-16 meeting. I think I wrote down where we left off. I'm not 100% sure.
We left off right here under section 7 of Article 3, the mayor. I believe it's page 6 of y'all's packet. Copy.
Yeah, I went old school on you. I had my book.
I like it.
Can you put that one on the screen, Beck?
That version, let me pull it back up. This is where we left off.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's it. I see it. That's where.
Yeah.
that's where- Yeah, that's fine. What you have in this section, I'll take is it's that gives the voting procedures for the council. The city is unique in that in this provision, if you look down toward the end, that it has a veto provision where the mayor gets to have the power to veto any ordinance or resolution except those that were originated by initiative or referendum. And to be effective, the mayor has to do that veto within 7 days after the final passage of an act. Then he has to give in writing why he is vetoing the act. And I don't recall, I know in my probably about 10 to 12 years over here at the city, that there's ever been a veto by a mayor.
What item was that on, section 6, Art?
Section 7?
7?
Yes, sir. Section 7.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
And what it is, where it says that initiative or referendum, what those are, an initiative is that's where if a citizen wants to initiate an ordinance and they sign a petition and they get enough people on the petition, and then they can force a vote on adopting that ordinance. Referendum, that's where the people, they don't like an ordinance that was passed. They get a petition together, they get enough people, it's put to a vote, and that ordinance can be repealed. So when you hear language that says initiative or referendum process, that's what that, and with this provision, it doesn't allow the mayor to basically veto something that the public did.
And by your recollection, this has never been done?
I know for sure in the past 10 to 12 years it has not, because I've been helping out over here since 2008.
Right,
And that's never been done.
right.
Any other questions or points of interest on section 7? Let's roll on to section 8 then.
Eight is just what it said. What it does, it gives the mayor the authority to remove those people that he has appointed to boards and commissions. The charter gives him the authority to appoint those people, and it also gives him this provision gives him the authority to remove those people.
And that's specifically related to those appointed by the mayor?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Art, point of question real quick.
Yes.
Is that just the ones that the mayor appoints?
Yes.
Other mayors that have appointed, he does not have authority over those appointments?
Well, those boards that the people that the mayor has appointed to serve on boards and commissions, those are the ones. Those are the only ones.
As far as existing directors of departments and that like that, those people may have been appointed by a previous mayor, but the mayor has the opportunity to reappoint at the initiation of his term. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's a different section. This section
Oh, okay.
here, this one deals with volunteers.
I see. Okay.
This section deals with volunteers. That's the removal of appointed non-paid persons that we're talking about now.
Thank you.
Yeah, the next section, that's we'll get to that one.
Are there any boards or volunteer, boards or committees that overlap the mayor's elections?
For instance, sometimes the mayor, he wants to appoint a board to do something special or whatever. And he can just appoint that board. And
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, and then a lot of the boards, if there's a new board, the mayor appoints the board. The council confirms it, but that's still a board that was appointed by the mayor. The mayor can remove it.
Okay. So in other words, a non, if you'll forgive the term, non-standing board,
Yeah,
like zoning or board of adjustment, it usually runs with the mayor's election.
yeah, and that's why, because he has the authority to appoint those. They're non-paid, and so he has authority like planning, zoning commission, all of those. He gets to do those.
Okay.
He can appoint and he can remove.
And like this commission.
Yes, exactly. And this section 9 is the section that talks about the mayor's authority to suspend without pay, which is basically firing somebody if they do it indefinitely, and that terminates their employment with the city. And there's another provision later on that gives the right to appeal to some employees and to non-department head. That's another section in the charter. But this subsection 9 gives the mayor the right to fire employees. He still got to abide by due process and all of the other things, but he has the right to terminate them.
That's kind of what we talked about in our last meeting a little bit, right?
Right. See, and that's what, and so if they file, if one of those employees other than a department head acts, they say they don't want to be terminated, then they get the right to have that hearing. So, but everybody really gets a right to have a hearing if they choose. But it's not a full-blown hearing. For instance, since you're a government employee, basically, if you're going to get fired, you get the right to basically a little due process where when you get ready to fire them, you come in and they say, tell me why I should not fire you. You tell them why you should not be fired. You can still be fired, but you had your opportunity for your due process. This is more than that. What this allows them to do is they can request a hearing of that suspension.
Thinking back to that last meeting, Art, I remember I was talking a lot about that, or raised the question a lot about it. And one of the questions that came to mind, and you, I'm sure, are aware, if the city does have a structured disciplinary procedure as it relates to employment.
Yes, they do. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
That answers all of my questions from the last time then.
Yes, it is. Yeah, they do. You got from your simple write-ups to you got what's it called? Progressive discipline. Yes.
Right. Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions about section 9? It's going to affect it again
Yeah, the other powers and duties is that the mayor, he can delegate any duties to the city administrator that he deems, that he needs to do. Some duties he cannot delegate, but those are duties that are solely for the mayor, but those that by law he can delegate, he has the right to do that, to delegate. And then with section 11, it's a section that deals with the compensation. And it said that the council gets to pick what that compensation is. So I don't know what the mayor's pay is now. I don't know, but the council sets it. The new section 12, that's the new provision that was just came in. I think the first one to serve in that is Mayor Hastings. We did it. We made the change back in about 17, but it wasn't implemented until probably 19 or so. But it's 2 consecutive 3-year terms as mayor. Yeah, it didn't become effective till 2018. So that's the mayor's term. The other 13 is just nothing really. On Article 4, I mean the qualifications are this is language that Chris Harris wanted us to look at. And basically is that we shall not receive money, cannot get paid from 2 governmental taxing entities.
And I believe we received that request from Rory Robertson and Chris Harris.
But I thought they were for that. I don't understand this comment.
Now he's saying he wants that the red.
He wants that taken out.
Yeah, he wants the red removed.
Okay, all right. Okay, I wondered. I said, why would he highlight that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that's their recommendation.
Which I believe, didn't they vote on that the last meeting?
Yes, we talked about it.
We talked about it and decided that was one we were gonna bring forward. Yes, that's right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then for the council, now I think everybody's on 3-year terms now, I believe.
As of this election, yes.
After this election, everybody's on a 3-year term. We have them staggered coming in, and it was staggered. Well, you guys know that it was staggered so that people who had the chance to figure out to finish out if they had a 2-year term left under the old charter, allowed them to get a chance to finish that and go. So, but yeah. This is number 3 under here. It's one that we never really look at, we never really keep count of, but it's always one of those gotchas. And so and that's one that's, if you missed 3 consecutive meetings without getting a leave of absence at a regular meeting, then that office is declared vacant by the council. The council has the vote to declare it vacant, which is different than in the last sentence here. If you miss 6 consecutive regular meetings, it doesn't matter whether you got any excuse or not. It's just any time you miss 6 meetings, your office is vacated. So I mean, that's something we never think about, that if you get a council member that's out sick and they miss 6 meetings, their office is vacated. So I don't think we haven't had that issue before, but that's something you need to know, that's one. It's pretty straightforward. You miss 6 and you 6 straight and you're out of here.
This is specifically for city council, correct?
Yes. yes.
With the technology today, you know, unless the council member is unconscious, they can just about they can be anywhere and let's say, injured and in the hospital, they can rig up some kind of Zoom or some kind of teleconference and he can attend, or does he have to physically be there?
No, there's a way you can do that. You can set those, there's certain procedures that go through to post it, but yes, you can. Yes, you can actually have council members present via Zoom. So yeah. There's a statute that allows you to do that. This is one that the council member Harrison where
He wants the red removed and the green to be the replacement language.
yeah. What the issue is that under the Constitution, when you have a city that has 3-year terms or more 3 or 4 year terms, that Article 11, Section 11 of the Constitution, it determines the replacement. When you got that vacancy, you have to have that election within 120 days, or if you got less than a year left on that time, you can have an appointment. And what he wants to do is just bring this language into conformity with Article 11 of the Constitution. And so that shouldn't be, it's not an issue. What it allows you they would allow us to come into conformity with the Constitution. So I didn't see any issues with that.
It would certainly make it a lot shorter.
Yeah. It makes it a lot shorter. Gives, and then you get a special. If they got more than 12 months left on their term, then you're going to get an election real quick so they can start serving. But you got to call that election. And if they got less than that time on there, you know, there's no reason to call an election when you got one coming right up.
So it removes this part though about we can't appoint more than one.
Well, that's in the law too.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. I knew about the term limit change, but I didn't know for sure on that.
Yeah, that part, that's in another provision on appointments that you cannot appoint 2 vacancies, you know, on the same council. You got to have an election.
So would the change need to refer to both provisions or not necessarily because it already exists?
No, it's already, that's under state law, so.
Okay.
And so that's a change that with that language there that I'd recommend that we move forward with that language, because all it does is just put us in compliance with the Constitution.
So do we need them to motion and vote on it?
No, not unless, I mean, I'm recommending we bring that forward. Do y'all want to bring that forward to as one of the things to talk about when we wrap up? Then they need to have a motion. Yeah, you're right. They need a motion to do that.
Well, the state constitution is going to trump it anyway, correct?
Yeah, it does. It does. So
basically, it's just cleaning the language up like on the last one.
yes.
Mm-hmm. So it can come on that separate list saying, these are the things that y'all voted to put in the final report, and these are recommendations on things we could clean up.
Clean up according to the Constitution, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you don't need to vote on that. What I'll do is we'll count that as that's one of my recommendations on there to clean up. And then you can decide if money-wise, that's something you want to do.
Okay.
Now, on this one, meetings of the council.
Art, let's before you go to section 5, I got a
ahead.
question about section 4.
Go ahead.
the subparagraph C says office of a council member shall be vacant at such time as the council member ceases to possess any of the qualifications listed in section 1.
Yes, sir.
In your opinion, if I'm on the city council and I represent Ward B and I move into Ward A, is that language strong enough that I need to resign?
Yes. Because you no longer reside in that B, and we make it a requirement that you reside in your ward.
Yeah. I have it right here. Oh, darn.
It's a requirement. We elect you by ward. And so if you were elected to that ward, then that's,
I didn't see anything that
it's gonna be, when we get down there, it's gonna be in that,
Yeah.
in the ward. It's gonna be in this language further down. It's gonna say you shall reside in that ward. It's gonna be here in the charter. So
We've never had that happen, have we, Art?
I've not heard of us having one. I know we've had some people who won from A and then won from B.
Yeah.
They were originally in A and then they won for council and then they ran for B and they won. So, but
there was a councilman years ago that was talked out of running because he or talked into resigning and running because he had moved.
yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, you're correct. Because he had moved, so he was no longer eligible from that ward.
Right.
okay.
But I didn't see anything that specifically stated that.
It's in here. It's
I
in
think
here.
it's in the, I agree, in the qualifications.
Yeah. Yeah, when we go down to it, I'll show it to you when we get to it.
All right, so thank you.
I'll find it for you.
Please continue on with section 5. I apologize for interrupting.
No. This is what we have to.
All right.
I see right now. You just. All right, and just a couple of points in this one, in the section 5, in the meetings where we're a little different than most places, is that it's, if you look under B, under section 5B, we require 4/5 for a quorum. Most people you're just gonna have a simple majority. You know, but what we require is that in order for you to have a meeting, you gotta have four out of the 5 council people that have a meeting. For something to pass, though, you just need 3 out of the 5 to vote in favor. And so that's something that's unusual, but it's just unique to Katy, where you take a super majority to have a meeting. And some of you may recall at one point we had a meeting ended because we had a council member walk out and we lost a quorum. So, and that's, and you know, people think, well, they still got 3 people. No, you need 4 for a quorum. Other than that, there any questions, concerns on that? And that was specifically done back in 97. That was an amendment that they specifically addressed that issue. Okay, let's move on to section 6. We talked about the veto, the mayor's ability to veto. This section gives the council can 3 council members, they get to override the mayor's veto.
So 3/5 override.
Yeah, it still takes a majority to override. So that's it. If the mayor vetoes it, it can come back, the council can put it back on and they can pass it again.
And I did search the minutes while y'all were discussing, and the veto did happen once in 87, and the council did use this provision to bring it back.
Okay.
But I don't see where it's been used since 1987.
Yeah. And so that's where that, now, section 7, when one of the, I guess this is the section where we're saying for the regular employees, non-department head employees.
This is that appeal process.
Yeah, yeah. See, and this is where you have, this is for, it starts with the department heads. See, in the event the mayor or the department head, when when the mayor or department head dealing with their employees, this is the appellate process for them. The department heads do not have an appeals process. This is for the other employees.
Well, this section had to be added after the original charter was agreed upon,
Yes,
or
it
the
was.
initial charter was agreed upon, wasn't it?
Yes, it did. It was in 2000. I don't know what caused that issue, but evidently the way I would surmise it is that there may have been the mayor, the council wanted to be able to hear appeals from some city employees, and that's why they amended this charter to do that. Whereas originally the council couldn't hear appeals from termination, and evidently they decided they wanted to do that, and they had the public put that in the charter.
Right. Well, this is kind of what I was really talking about the last meeting, in Texas being a right to work state, right to work state, and this basically is wording like is in a union contract. Okay.
Yes.
And
you're right.
this is, in my mind, I realize maybe the intentions behind it. And I also remember Skip saying when we discussed this the last time that he was surprised. I guess Skip was one of the initial city charter participants.
Yes.
And I remember him saying, well, that would have never made it in the initial charter. And I think personally with what the state has, what the federal government has in place as far as appeals within the state of Texas, those rights of appeal within that are in guidelines set down by the state are appropriate for the city as well, not necessarily to have this whole section. Okay. And I guess I should have gone through this more before I got on my rant here. So
No, but this is something that is specific to the city, because what it is that ordinarily under the strong mayor form of government, all of those employees, they report to the mayor. So the mayor does the hiring and firing. The mayor still has to take in the due process consideration. You can't discriminate against people. They get to have basically called a laudermill hearing where they get to do all of that. They get to do that. What our charter decided to do is to say, okay, with these other employees, we're gonna take that power away from the mayor, and for these employees, this appeals process, it goes to the council. And so for instance, if you have a superintendent, let's say he's a public works superintendent, the department head and the mayor say, hey, we're gonna get rid of them. They're not working out. They're not gonna do that. They file their appeal. It goes up to council. and then council hears everything, council can say, oh, well, they get to come back.
The city has a progressive disciplinary procedure and
Yes,
it's adhered to and it's governed. This is unnecessary
yeah,
in my mind.
yeah, it is, this, just, I don't know for certain, but this provision is one that was to address some issue. Somebody had to bring this issue up, because you wouldn't normally see this in anybody's charter.
And I've been reviewing the draft minutes. There's no discussion listed in the minutes.
Not even in the commission?
I'm not finding it. I find where they voted on it.
In 2000,
But I can keep looking for you, Dan, and see what other additional information I can get on it.
well, I mean, I've been on this charter commission since, I don't know, maybe 2004 or 2006 or somewhere along in there. And, you know, I have to say, and this is I'm saying shame on me. I've never caught this before. And it's never raised a question in my mind before. And maybe it's because we did a broader overview and didn't go specifically through each section of the charter that I'm, and I apologize to the rest of the commission members for wasting your time, but I worked in human resources for 35 years, so it's kind of.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, Dan, you know, and I look at this thing all the time, and every time I look at it, I mean, I find stuff that is like, okay, I got to remember this because it's something that wakes me up. But that's one that we just if we can put that label that for discussion. But that's one that's out there, and it was put out there for a reason. I don't know what that reason was, but it's unusual, but it's in the charter. It's very rare that you would have that type of appeal process in the charter. Then it goes to the council. So.
Well, here's a question. You know, in the past, we've looked at items that other cities had, and we've compared ourselves to other cities in various areas as it relates to the city charter, how, you know, subsequent areas like Sugar Land or Pearland, how they deal with these kind of things. And maybe that's where it's come from. They have that kind of appeal system within the city. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
No, most of them are not going to have. Smaller cities, some small cities have where you get to appeal to the council, but most larger cities would not have where you get to appeal, because what our charter allows us to do is, if I get to appeal it, even if I'm an equipment operator, if I'm an EO1, I get to appeal. You normally won't find that in larger cities. Sometimes in smaller cities, you'll find that, because a lot of times you'll have the city secretary has basically been running the city, because the mayor's got a full-time job. And so in order for them to find, they really know what's going on, they have the city council do a lot of stuff that normally an administrator would do. And
Right.
so in some smaller cities, general law cities, they'll have where you appeal to the council. You know, you just appeal to the council. That way the council will decide. But in larger cities, it's very rare that you're going to find where an equipment operator, an administrative assistant, someone like that has a direct appeal to the council.
And I've only been here 6.5 years, but once it's been used to a lower penalty.
Yeah.
Not for termination, but to lower penalty given in a write-up.
Yeah.
So there has been instances of its use in front of the city council.
Yes, we've had a couple of police officers that here recently we've gone through over the past 10 years, it's probably about 8 or 9, probably. We probably do about once a year, about once or twice a year, you'll have a couple of them.
So go ahead.
Most of them, the council has upheld most of them. They reduced one that I know of, but I don't recall other than the one being reduced. And everybody else, their termination was upheld.
Mhm.
Well, here's my last comment on it. I realize this is probably occupying more time than you folks want to participate with, but in my 35 years, if there's a good, solid, progressive disciplinary procedure in place, and it's adhered to, and it's bona fide and guaranteed that it's accurate, okay, can be substantiated. If there's a termination initiated on it, the way it was structured in the organizations that I was leading the HR effort, I had to sign off on every termination. And I assume the progressive system has to go beyond just the department head in the event of a termination.
Yes.
Someone else has to approve it beyond that. Maybe it is the mayor. I do not know. It could be the city manager.
It's the mayor, it's the mayor, the legal and the HR people all together. They sign off.
Well, and that's where I'm headed, Art. If all of those folks are involved, if the legal consequences are looked at and made, and the procedure is followed as far as the discipline is concerned, I don't think it's necessarily puts any of those people who are responsible for supervising people in a good position to supervise accurately if they realize that their decisions as it relates to employment can be overturned by the city council. That's my statement. Okay.
Yeah.
Art, can I clarification real quick?
Sure.
Because I know we've talked about this before. I know when it comes to appointed positions by the mayor, from what you and I have talked about in the past, they don't have this avenue.
Yeah, they do. They some do, some don't. The mayor hires other positions also, but through his subordinates. The department heads, there's a provision in there, we talk about department heads. The department heads do not have the right to appeal. The other employees do.
Okay.
You know, if you got a department head, they do not have the right to appeal. You know, and that's so that's, let's say you got just any one of the other fire departments, whichever one of them, and it says it in here that the mayor, the council can confirm them, but they still, the mayor can terminate. But on these other positions, then no. Even if the mayor terminates them or the department head terminates, and it's very specific about that. It doesn't matter whether it's the mayor or the department head. Terminates them, that they get to come back if the council puts them back.
And then separately, what Chris is requesting here today is an issue within it right now. If I were to terminate one of my employees and they followed the protocol and filed for this appeal hearing, I have to call a meeting of the city council within a set number of days just to call the hearing.
Yeah.
And so his changes are saying that our office would, within that time frame, set a date to call that hearing. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
And then he says that, you know, 3 of the council members qualified and serving, which I guess it's gonna be the same thing, it's take the majority of the council to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, here I think he's just trying to simplify language.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this last time too with Sherry and Skip. So Art, is it something we should swing back down
Yeah,
to?
yeah, we'll deal with that one too. So we'll deal with that one. Let's put that one so we can deal with it.
Okay. And so that moves us on to ordinances.
That was nothing, just says how we have to do our ordinances, what the caption is, the state requires that. Just nothing out of the ordinary, how we have to publish it, and that the ordinances that we have. One thing that I would ask us to take a look at, I always forget to bring this up, and I'm so glad that this is that when you look at this language about us having it on 3 separate weeks, publishing that 3 separate weeks, that we change that. That's not required by law, and all that does, that just costs you money. What you need to do with, if it's a penal ordinance, you have to publish the caption and the penalty. You got to publish the ordinance, but our charter requires that you publish it 3 times. And why I know why, because years and years ago, most cities, when we used to adopt ordinances, like when I first started back in the 80s, you had every ordinance, you had 3 readings. I mean, that's just the way you was. You had 3 readings. Home rule cities, we had 3 readings on ordinances. Then we eventually went down to 2 readings. But there's no reason for you to have to publish this. Every ordinance involving the penalty was got to be published those 3 times. I think publishing, you have to publish them by law, but three times, no. I mean, when you think about it, who reads those anyway? And you're only going to publish the caption. So that's one of the things, that's one of my recommendations. So you guys think about that when we move forward with that, is that we change that to that we publish it, to be published in the official newspaper.
That's gonna be under your
Yes.
your recommendation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's gonna be my recommendation. Under number 9, the duties. I don't see anything. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that I want to take a look at, Becky, if you can make a change, is that I want to update where if we get into cleaning this stuff up, to update the site that they use for the Texas civil statute. I mean, that's in the transportation code now. So to probably just will strike where it says as provided in that article 1105B59, probably just that we should have exclusive dominion, control, and jurisdiction, including the right to close and abandon streets and public ground, and then say for the improvement of the same period. Now, when you get to that as, see where as is?
Okay, hold on.
I got it.
What
Stop it.
paragraph were you on?
Stop at same. Stop at same. No, go up 1 row. Yeah, right there, period. And
Okay.
strike the rest of it.
And then just take all this out?
Yeah, that's what I'm recommending, because with that's the wrong site. And even though it says it's now here, I have to amend it, but shouldn't put it, it is what it is.
And so would you want to put the new citation in or just?
No, don't want to put
Yeah.
citations because they changed. So you take that as now, or here after amend, strike that also.
Okay,
Because it's in the transportation code now anyway.
all right, we'll put that on the cleanup list.
While we're on this one, look up at paragraph F, right in the middle. Well, it was.
Okay.
Why is that not in a the public works or permitting area?
It is, but the council has authority to create those ordinances that does that. So, I mean, it's just a list of powers of the council, that's all. Is that the council sets those limits, the council does all that stuff. And so it's not necessary to have it in there, but it just tells what some of the powers of the city council are. They just give a list.
So if they adopt the energy code from 2015,
Yeah,
that's what they meant, right?
that's what they meant, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that, it's just that when you look at that list talking about fixed salaries, yeah, okay. Provide for sanitary sewer and all that stuff, yeah, that's what they do. You know, that's what they do by ordinance. Garbage disposal and all that, yeah, that's what council does. It just kind of gives just a general list of what the council, then they say, and shall have all other powers, you know, given that the legislature given. So it's just a bunch of, you know, legalese, you know.
So it's by state law?
Yeah, no, all of that is state law gives them that authority to do that. So it's just a listing, so they can put that in the just really so we can charge you by the word. I mean, because what it is, if you look at adopt a city map, we're required by law to adopt a city map. All right, it said authorize the issuance of bonds by a bond ordinance. That's what council has to do. You can't issue bonds unless the council does it by ordinance. Adopt the city budget. That's what the council do. The council adopts the budget. And so this is, say, by way of illustration, the following powers are among those powers that may be exercised by the council. It just says these are the type of powers that the city council has. And it just gives you a little list for that of some of the powers that they have, which means nothing because it says that the city council has all those powers.
So is that where the permit and public works gets their authority?
No, they get the authority by the very nature of it being the city council has that power. They don't have to look for a specific language for this. The fact that they're the city council and the city council has that authority to do so, that's where they get their authority from. They don't have to look to this, you know, section 9, that's where I get the power to do it. No, Article 11 of Article 11, Section 5 of the Texas Constitution, being a home rule city, gives them the authority to do that.
Okay. So because it comes from the Constitution or comes from the state government, it doesn't need to be.
And what this does, it makes it clear that, okay, city council, you have all the authority that state law gives you, except for now, make sure that you don't think you can exercise the same duties that the mayor has. And that's where you see that language there, that all the powers and all matters of power or policy, the council has control over, except for under the mayor's powers. You don't get to operate. If there's a conflict between something, the mayor's power and the council's powers, the mayor's power wins out. Alrighty. And here, this gives the council the right to also to create boards, commissions, but the thing about it is that they can only create that board or the members of that board or that committee upon the recommendation of the mayor.
So the mayor doesn't appoint the board, the council does?
The mayor, the other boards, there's a provision that says the mayor appoint those other boards. But let's say the council decide that they want to do a board that the mayor hadn't thought of, or the mayor didn't think about doing, or the mayor didn't really want to do, and the council says, well, we're going to vote to create the Art Pertile Annual Citizen of the Year Award board, and we want a board to do that. And so So the council comes in, they put an agenda item, they say, all right, we're gonna create this board. You can create it, but the mayor gets to say who's gonna be on it.
Okay,
And
okay,
because the mayor has to recommend it. They can create that board, but the members of those boards, the mayor gets to put on there.
okay. So it's the council's boards.
Yeah, those are the council. The other one we talked about was the mayor's board. See, this is a strong mayor form of government. And so we talked about earlier under the mayor power, the mayor appoints people to boards and the council confirms them. Well, this just not if the council wants to create boards because they think that's what they want to do, yeah, you can. But in order to make sure things are flowing like the way the mayor has designed the city to flow, we got to kind of do it in conjunction with the mayor. You can create the Art Pertile board, but the people who are going to be on that board are going to be people that the mayor approves to be on that board. To make sure you're not appointing people to that board or the I hate the mayor board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, procedures. I got one other change here that I'd want to make in here is that it mentions as set out in local government code 252.2.021. There's a bunch of other purchasing laws that we do, and so I would recommend that you let me amend that language to just say in accordance with state law. Because not only do we do 252.021 deals with it, we got 271, we got 275. We got a bunch of statutes that allow you to do purchasing and to do all the bidding and stuff. And so I'll bring that to you with the recommended change, and you guys can decide to do something or not change it. If you don't change it, it's not gonna hurt that much because you still do it as authorized under other provisions. Alrighty, the emergency powers, that just gives them the right to the council to do things. There's not much the council gets to do under emergency powers. Basically it's the mayor. The mayor is when the emergency is declared. At first it's the mayor for the first 7 days. The mayor has complete authority. Then after that, if it's not extended, then the council has authority. Then other than that, now we're on the city administrator. Becky, what time is it? Are we close to the time we said we were going to?
It's
3:35 now.
Yeah.
Did y'all want to move through the city administrator?
Why don't we go, because this meeting was slated for an hour, right, Becky?
I thought we agreed on an hour and a half, but
Hour and a half. It was an hour and a half.
All right.
Okay, so I can, one of the things that's in here that we need to change, and Becky, if you can make a note, is that in here, we need to change the appointment of the manager, the administrator. It's should be the same as the term for the mayor. That language is in there, but the mayor's term was changed from a 2-year term to a 3-year term. And so it's in here somewhere, and it's down here. It's in number 2. So that's what they're asking for that language. But I need to make sure that the administrator's term, that it goes with the same as the mayor term. The mayor's term is now a 3-year term, and so because you don't want to, unless you absolutely have to, you don't want that the mayor's term the administrator's term to be longer than the mayor's term, because that may, the administrator that's there may not be the administrator that the new mayor wants.
And that's kind of what it looks like Chris is proposing, that instead of doing it the first odd numbered, because of course that would be every 2 years, that it be the same calendar year following the regular mayoral election.
I didn't like that because,
Okay,
I mean, I don't understand that. So,
all right,
so
we'll look for a cleaner version.
yeah. So what I want to do is just say that the term of the city manager should not extend past the term of the mayor. And so as long as it's the mayor's, as long as it's the mayor under that, then that's when when the mayor changes terms, the administrator changes. Now the new mayor can always appoint some, but you don't want that. You don't want that fight.
Right.
Okay. The duties. Did y'all have any concern about the duties of assisting? Basically, the manager is kind of like the administrative person of our elected mayor. You know, you're gonna hear me talk about it, and I've been trying to talk about it to people, the cities that I work for. They get tired of me talking about how you guys have this administrative aspect of it, so that the mayor can still be the official person and still get overall say, but you can still have your actual professional administrative person handle the administrative stuff, which is I mean, it's a novel way, and it's a good way to do it. But what this provision allows you to do is to have a professional administrator and still have the political mayor in there, and so still get it done. And what this does, this just basically says that the administrator is responsible for helping the mayor get stuff done. Because if you get some people that you get an elected mayor that's never done any city work before, never done anything, but he just happened to have the last name Pertile, so everybody likes him, and all of a sudden he's mayor. And you know,
That's a big assumption that everybody likes everybody named Fertile.
I mean, how can you not like a Pertile? So what you have is then you get somebody and they're there and they're popular, but you know, I'm a good man. I just been an associate pastor at the First Baptist Church my whole life, and so I don't know anything about running the city, and so that allows you to do. That's the way Katy government is set up. So it allows you to be able to do that. If you hire, or if somebody who wins and becomes the mayor, if they got experience and they can run the government, that's fine. They don't have to hire that position, or they could. Yeah, at one point we had 2 of those positions. So you can do whatever you need to do to help you do it. So that's my description of that one. I didn't recommend any changes, and I hadn't heard any issues on those. Now this next provision, that's the most important one that you have in the charter. It's the city attorney position. That you got to make sure you got excellent people there. You probably got the finest one in the history of municipal law head in your department now. But other than that, what this allows you to do is to have a department law, and you can have either what we call in-house or out-house, like with me. You know, I'm outside. My firm representative does that, or you also have the option, if the city was going to, without having to do anything to the charter, that the city could hire city attorneys and city attorneys just in-house as city employees. This amendment that was there in 2009, one of the reason for that amendment was when Joe was getting ready to retire, and part of the requirement in the charter was that the city attorney had to be a Katy resident. And then Joe Hager, who's city attorney, then asked that be amended And so, we had been helping him during that time, and he asked that it be amended so that you could have somebody like me who wasn't a Katy resident to be able to do it. So that's why that provision, you see that amendment is in there. So, but it does allow you to have city attorneys either in-house or out-house. The municipal court, the one change that they're asking for this, they're putting that 3-year term. You can't do that. The statute has a 2-year term. So to make it where Chris is recommending that chapter, I forgot what it is, but it's in the government code. I think it's chapter 29 of the government code. It sets municipal court terms at 2 years.
Okay, so not recommending.
No, and it's 2 years. And if you don't reappoint them within, I think it's 6 months, the statute says if you don't reappoint them within 6 months, they automatically get their 2-year term. So no, we can't do 3 years.
So is this something we should have calendared for reappointment every 2 years?
Yes. Find out when he was appointed, and then know that when it comes up every 2 years. If you don't do it within that certain amount of time, then he automatically gets 2 years. He or she.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Auto renewal.
There it is. It's chapter 29. There it is, 29. That's.
Oh, yes, right there.
I saw that right there. Yeah, I knew it's somewhere around
Okay.
there.
Edie?
Police department, it's basically just gives the authority of the police. Nothing special that I saw in there. The only things that's kind of odd is look at C, under 3C. I saw somewhere talk about this special police force. I think that's the same thing most people call their reserves, but I don't know if we've ever used that before, but I don't know.
D is the reserves.
Okay, then what is this? That's what I'm trying to see. Who are these rascals?
If I'm trying to recall, years ago, they tried to slip in detectives or a special, this is 30, 40 years ago. I mean, they tried a restructuring, and it was not, the city was not in favor of it. The citizens were not.
Okay. All right. No person shall. Okay. All right. So they're not a police. Okay. All right. Now I see what this is in the negative. Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
in the
Not
negative.
allowed.
It's in the negative. So can't have special police. That's why that was throwing me off. I'm like, we got reserve. So this language is saying you can't have this special. Okay. All right.
Now, letter D, that was order, that came before the voters.
Yeah.
We did.
Okay.
And it was
Yeah.
it was a vote negative. If you
Yeah.
voted the
I
affirmative,
see.
you were actually voting against it.
Yeah, I see that. That must have been in 83. Okay. All right. Now the city secretary, that's like the number 2 position in the charter. So that one it requires that the city secretary be competent and know what to do in this. It's just I didn't recommend any changes in that or thing that. What I do it's on section 5 is that the city treasurer, it's you got to decide that's not a necessary position. You can have it and you can change it to finance director, but it's not one that you have to have by charter. So you can decide if that's one that you want to. You got to have somebody that duties are over the money and all of that finance, but they don't have to be a charter employee. And a lot of times you'll find that they're not. Finance directors, they seem to got rid of the charters and and they hire the finance directors. So, but it doesn't do any harm if they are, but you know, fire department.
So Art, do you recommend the change or?
If they're gonna just change it to finance director, I don't see a problem changing that. I just think they just need to decide if they want to keep that position as a charter employee, but just changing it to finance director, I don't see a problem. I don't see that there's a, I don't think it'll change anything. I don't think that changes any of like Andy's responsibilities or duties or anything like that.
No, because I think his job description may actually list both titles already.
Right. So I don't see it. I don't think that will change any of that.
Okay, fire department.
Fire department, that we gotta change that. We gotta change this. Hold on. We gotta make, in the last sentence, we amended it in 09 to say we could have either.
Yeah, the fire
Paid-
department shall be staffed by paid or volunteer.
Volunteer. And now it looks like we're going to a fully paid. So I guess we're gonna have to ask Bear and the mayor, do we still want to leave this option there or not?
Does it
Byron?
do anything to leave the option there? I mean, they're still, they don't have to do either one, but they
Right.
can.
Yeah, they can do, so.
Uh,
If y'all don't have any comments on that, I don't either. It doesn't matter, because when you got paid or volunteers, it doesn't matter, so.
Art,
I don't have a recommendation.
Art, at this time, I would just keep it in.
Okay.
And if I remember right, Joanne, isn't that the discussion we had last time was to keep it in for that reason?
Right.
Yeah, I thought so
It's
too.
it's not limiting them to either one. They can
No,
do whichever.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Then we got the social services, or Parks and Rec. So you got that. It just says that's a department. I mean, you just, and the council on a Parks and Rec department. And so we have social services, that's one that's been really big in Katy. I don't see anything to recommend any changes in that. Okay.
What about, Art,
Yes, sir.
what about, going back to section 8, the last introductory paragraph, the last sentence, and the council shall employ any other personnel deemed necessary, what did you say, the department? Is that the council or the mayor? I thought the mayor oversaw that.
Should be the mayor. Should be the mayor. The council does. I don't know how that language got in there. In the 85, that shouldn't be. That should be.
Becky, let the record show that actually made a point.
Yeah, that's it. Edit, you sure right. That one right there, because that's not what they do.
No, interesting.
Yeah.
If you change it to the mayor will employ,
Yeah.
Does that take it out of the director's hands?
Yeah, well, no, what you do is what you really do, the director will be the coordinator of the multi-purpose activities, and you just do period.
Okay.
Because they'll hire whoever they need to hire. If they need more people or less people or whatever.
And the council
Okay,
approves
so
it
just-
in the budget.
Yeah, and the council does it in the budget, yeah.
So just delete that all the way out. Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yes, right there.
So should they vote on this one?
That'll be one they'll have to decide if it's worth the money. If we're gonna have an election, is that one that should be done in an election?
Okay, we'll put it on there.
Well, y'all can't blame this one on me. I wasn't here in 85, so. All right, best election council. What do we do? That's nothing but the statute.
Mike, Mike,
Yes, sir.
it's about 3:50. Didn't know if you wanted to keep going through elections or,
Now, we better stop at elections.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up to me.
Yeah.
We'll take up Article 7 next time.
Alrighty.
Can
What's
I
our
ask
next
one,
meeting?
can I ask one question?
Yes,
Back to, my favorite topic. What notations do we have, if any, related to the appeal and suspension, reinstatement of appointed salaries? What notation do we have on that section, if any?
we got some, Becky put the notations on there.
I think I just put for it to come back. I believe Kathy Joe probably captured y'all's comments in her
Okay.
minutes.
All right.
So we'll see the minute discussion come back. And we do plan on rediscussing it as a group.
Good.
So one thing we need to take a look at, Mr. Chair, is that our calendar to get this completed and then get our discussions on it. We need, how much time do we have left, Becky, in order to get our report in?
So we have the deadline to call a special election, I want to say is right here on February 12th. And so we would have to take our final report to the city council. I messaged Art, my recommendation would be if y'all are able to meet weekly so that we can finish going through, because as you mentioned, Dan, now that we're going through it more line by line, it is taking longer than it's taken us in the past.
Right.
And I think that would allow us to continue doing what we're doing and then us to bring a final report back for y'all to recommend to the council in time for that packet. If I call it a regular meeting, we would call the special election here, which means we would need to finalize our report and submit it in here, correct, Art? Or does it need to come before that?
No, around that time, we do.
Okay. Yeah, so that only gives us, 3 to 4 weeks.
Why does it have to come to a special election?
It won't, well, no, it doesn't have to. No, it doesn't have to go to special election.
Well, that's also the deadline for us to call our regular election. isn't
Yeah.
it?
So we.
But
we
won't it still be deemed a special election because it's a.
It is special election, but we can still call it at the same time. We call it. We can call it and then put the items on there. I mean, but
Okay.
so,
And that's fine. And I think that they have done that in the past because they had a March deadline to print ballots.
yeah, and we can still call it. We just got to get it done for the ballots to get printed and get the information out there. Yeah.
And
so
understand that if we call it, it can be canceled.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what we can do that. We can call it and then see where we are and then do that. So we could still do the every other week, but I think when we get in these other sections, I
Gonna go
don't think
faster.
it's gonna take long to do it.
We went faster today.
Yeah, I just wanted this time to go through it because I've been through this charter about 2 or 3 different times and you start missing stuff. And so that's why I decided this time, let's try to go word by word to make sure that we can get it clean. So.
But just are aware of our timeline.
Yeah.
Barring some kind of, problem like we had last time with the virus, there's an election, a normal city election in May, correct?
Yes.
I plan on conducting it unless someone makes me do otherwise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
And we still have to call it though. We still got to call the election up here in January. That doesn't mean that you start holding it. You just gotta call it.
Okay. So it's just a preliminary first call, if you will.
Yes. And then
Okay.
there's notice requirements that come later as for the, what is actually going to be on the ballot. But right now we have a deadline of, I believe, February 12th to call the election. But as I said before, we could call it And then if for some reason y'all or the council voted not to have that charter election, we would just bring an ordinance back canceling it.
Before we get too far away, is there a reason why the other departments are not listed here?
Yeah, because there's not a reason to even list the departments.
Okay.
Most charters, you don't list those departments because the city may create new departments. They may change it. There's not, the only departments that you normally see in everybody's charter, you're gonna find a legal department and city secretary department and municipal court. Then
So
it's a hodgepodge of what you find. Some cities are gonna have the planning and zoning commission and under the charter, some aren't. Some just gonna have, it just depends on how that city wants to operate, what that city feels are important. But you'll find the city secretary, municipal court, and the legal department there because every city must have those.
Okay.
You know,
So it gives the city more freedom is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Art, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On section 3 of Article 2, I think it is, Article 6,
Okay.
that the mayor shall appoint the chief of police. Okay, but when you go to section 6, where it talks about the fire department, there's no language there that he appoints the fire chief.
Because he does under the charter, he appoints all department heads.
So that's covered there.
Yeah. So you don't need to say he appoints.
You don't need to spell it out each time.
No.
Okay.
Years ago, the fire department elected the
Right.
fire chief.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they did. They elect them, and when you got those volunteer, a lot of times when you have those volunteer departments, they decide who the chief is, and then they send it over to the city. This is the new chief.
Okay.
Yes, we did. All right, anybody else have any other discussion? Becky, what did you say the next meeting was?
It sounds like we're gonna keep with the regular schedule at this time, which means we will meet again January 20th at 2:30 p.m.
Becky, can we kind of poll the people and see if you do need to have meetings next week? Just so we can make sure we get through it all in a timely.
I think that we should be fine. Like, it sounds to me like as long as we have an election, we probably will have a charter election.
Right.
But in the event that we didn't, we could always come back and cancel it and say the city didn't need it or want to spend money on the changes at this time.
Right, because nowadays with the electronic stuff we have, it really doesn't matter how many different little things you have on there. It doesn't take near as long.
And I've been flipping through too, and you know, like in 2000, they met through March. In 2005, they met through March, which would have meant they would have had to call.
We would have called it in January.
Yeah.
So what are the sections left, Becky, and articles left?
I was ask Becky, is there any request from council?
Just
Or from-
Chris, and we've been working through his. That's why I switched to this document.
Yeah, we've been working through Chris' draft.
So in the home rule charter right now, we're currently in election.
Once we get there, we'll be through.
Yeah.
Next time.
I'm still okay.
Next time we'll be close to getting through because we go through the elections. That's going to be initial referendum. It's going to be finance, maybe some changes, taxation. We're probably going to ask for a bunch of that stuff to be changed because the state law is going to handle that. And then the other stuff, the most I'd say we got are 2 meetings before we have to pull together and get a final type of thing to look at.
So if you look at it on the timeline we're at, then that puts us, yeah, I mean, that still puts us early March.
Right there, March. In March, we can get it to the council by March. By March, we can get it, because we'll do this month, this meeting this month, that the next first meeting, then that last meeting in February would be where the commission decides what they want to submit or not.
And so just to be sure, when we call it, we don't have to list those charter amendments? Because I know when we call it, we list the council positions.
No, when you call it, you just call the election.
And then we'll bring an order for the election.
Then you bring the order for the election, yeah.
Okay. You good, Byron?
Good. Appreciate everybody's time.
Mike?
All right, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
all right. Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Okay.